On today's DNVR Broncos show, we are breaking down the formula for the Broncos to upset the Bills on Sunday. And we've got two Super Bowl 50 champs joining us today, plus our own Super Bowl 50 champ, Todd Davis. And it all starts now. If this week couldn't get any better with the Broncos in the playoffs, it did this morning, where we've got three pieces of awesome news for the Broncos as they get momentum heading in to Buffalo. And we're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We got a big show rocking in the Toyota Lounge live inside the DNVR bar. And of course, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, presented by Bet365. And we got Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis. We've got Hank, also known as Henry Chisholm. We've got, have you been knighted yet, Ryan?
Try and find out.
Sealand? See if you've been knighted. Ryan Koenigsberg, get here behind the camera. Zach Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, we got three pieces of news this morning. The NFLPA's All-Pro team came out, and Pat Surtain and Marvin Mims were on there. There's only one All-Pro team, and they both got nods there. Marvin Mims is a punt returner, and Pat is one of the two cornerbacks. Of course, they both deserve it. They just keep racking up awards. This is Marvin's first award in this category, and it is Pat's back-to-back-to-back. It's his third time winning this one, and I think those two guys are probably going to be on that list for a long time. And the cool thing about this is voted on by players only. So this is the players only All-Pro award. So the ball knowers, as some might say.
They don't know ball. They don't know ball. I just want to start right here.
Wow.
They don't know ball.
I was trying to give Todd some credit.
Somehow Zach Allen is not an All-Pro again. It's the same thing as like the Pro Bowl vote, where you let the fans, the coaches, and the players all vote, and all of a sudden Zach Allen is the seventh best defensive tackle in the AFC. Here we are again. Once the media puts out the real All-Pro team, we'll see who the actual All-Pros are, and it's going to make a lot more sense than these lists.
Who's on the list right now?
Don't know yet.
In his place?
Not Zach Allen.
I don't know.
In his place, I can pull it up right now.
Probably Chris Jones and like Matabuki.
Oh, for sure, Chris Jones. Let's see.
Players
so we're looking
love
at, here we go. On the defensive side, we are looking at interior defensive line, Chris Jones, and Jalen Carter.
He's pretty good.
Zach Allen's better.
But Zach Allen's been playing better. Yeah.
Zach Allen's been playing
I
out
just
of
gotta
his
say,
mind.
do you ever think about just like how lucky we are as sports fans in Denver? We got the NBA MVP, the NHL MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, soon to be back-to-back All-Pro at his position. We've got
Heisman winner,
the Rookie of the Year or the Rookie of the Year runner-up.
Yep.
And a Heisman winner.
Yep.
And the Rockies.
And a really cool baseball stadium.
Well,
that's unbelievable. No one else can say that.
And I got to say, Ryan, from my perspective, of course, love all the other sports, but being so deep with the Broncos, that hasn't hit me yet. Just because, like, the Broncos have been the ones. I mean, the Rockies have made the postseason more recently than the Broncos before this season. So I'm still trying to get out of this hole, and the Broncos are certainly jumping out of that this year. And you mentioned Bo Nix, and his case for Offensive Rookie of the Year just got stronger today, right when we started this show. 4 minutes ago, news broke that Bo Nix didn't just win Rookie of the Year. That'll come out tomorrow, and he's going to win that. He won AFC Offensive Player of the Week for the second time this year, meaning he's the best offensive player in the entire AFC. This is not a rookie award. The entire AFC. Wow. He's won it 2 times this year, which is just incredible. So he's been the best offensive player in the AFC 11% of the season. That's pretty incredible for a rookie.
I think that's great. I love the way that you put it there. I love the percentage more so than 2 out of 17 weeks,
2 out of 18.
18.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, but I think it's a great award for him. I think he's played really well that last week. Unfortunately, I do think Rookie of the Year is out of the question, but I think that, it's another notch on his belt, proving to the entire world, the national media, how good Bo Nix really is.
Todd, I definitely thought that Jaden Daniels had locked it up. But the season didn't end until this past Sunday. We got to take the 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 300 yards. He set the NFL rookie record for completion percentage at 89%. I just really hope that I'm afraid that voters have kind of thought the way that you just put it out there of this has been over for a couple of weeks. I just hope that's not the case because this is an entire season award.
Yeah, to me, it just comes down to the fact that award narratives are written in the first 4 weeks of the season. Mm-hmm. And that's the only time of the year that Bo Nix wasn't really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But at that point, people had already decided Jaden Daniels is the heavy front runner for this award. And he didn't do anything to mess it up, for sure. He continued to play great. This team won 11 games. So I believe that Bo should be more in the conversation than it feels like he is. I definitely wouldn't say that Jaden Daniels is undeserving of the award. But it does feel like if you were to weight the back end of the season as much as I feel like the front end of the season is weighted in these contests, that it might be a lot closer to Bo winning.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly how it should be. And guys, we got a packed show today. We've got 2 Super Bowl champs joining us. And we also got to start breaking down the Bills. And I think, guys, I want to get into the formula for the Broncos upsetting the Bills. And I personally think it has everything to do with number 10. I think it has everything to do with Bo Nix. I think for the Broncos to upset the Bills, they have to put up at least 30 points. This Josh Allen-led offense is really, really good. It can be slowed down, but to ask him to be stopped and held to 16 points, I don't think is realistic. So I think it falls on the Broncos offense to be able to put up points. And this is a good Bills defense, but this is not an unstoppable Bills defense or a defense that you can't get beyond. So I think the task for Bo Nix and Sean Payton, score 30 points, and you give yourself a damn good chance. I want to ask you guys, am I asking too much for a rookie quarterback making his first start in the playoffs in Buffalo against the number 2 seed? Is that too much to ask for?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's absolutely too much to ask for. Look, if the Broncos are going to make a run in these playoffs, it is going to be because the defense plays at an elite level.
But they got the rookie of the year, you said.
Exactly.
They do.
Good point, Todd.
So
I think if the Commanders are going to make a run, they also need their defense to play at an elite level. No one is riding a rookie quarterback to a Super Bowl without some serious help on the other side of the ball. And I think I'll say the same thing if the Broncos win this week. For them to beat the Chiefs, they're going to have to get an elite defensive performance. To me, you are going to need Bo to make some special plays, some off-script stuff, some legacy-building plays. But to ask this offense to put up 30 points on the road in the playoffs in the freezing cold is too much for me.
Yeah, I think it's just a slower game. We'll see how it actually plays out, but it feels like one where both teams are going to be willing to run the ball a little bit and feel it out. Like, this doesn't feel like an up-tempo 40-yard pass and then, just back and forth and back and forth. Feels like it's going to be just a little bit more methodical with the Broncos defense, in theory, taking away the big plays and hopefully kind of taking away the rest of it too.
for me, I think Bo Nix has to play well, but I think it's all about the running game. Like, the offense needs to put up points, but you have to do so running the ball. And historically, you can look at every Broncos Super Bowl run. We've had a great running game.
Yeah.
And I think that's necessary when you talk about getting to the playoffs, making a playoff push, beating the number 2 seed away at their place. Like, I know we haven't had it all year, but I think I'm staying hopeful for the possibilities of, maybe this is our Sunday.
I was going to say, I think you might be asking too much even more.
And so, guys, the reason why I say this is I look at the Bills, and they're 13-4. The 4 games, or the 13 games they've won, their defense has held opposing offenses to 18 points per game. That's really, really darn good. In their 4 losses, they've given up 31 points per game. 13-point difference, that's huge. Now, the Bills weren't really trying this past week, so if you take that game out of the equation, then they've given up 34 points per game in their losses. That's a difference of 16 points per game. So I think we're going to know in this first half if the Broncos, if they have 14 points on the board, they've got a real shot to win this game. If they've got 3, it's not trending in the right direction because it's way too much to ask the Broncos defense to hold Josh Allen to 17 points and you score 18 points is what their defense has given up in their wins. I think that's too much of an ask than it is for Bo to go out there and score 30 points. I think this can be done too because you look at the Bills, I think they have like the 10th best scoring defense in the NFL. But they have given up the 17th most yards in the NFL, so you can move the ball on them. Their run defense is average. Their pass defense is below average. It's bottom 10. But here's the key about the Bills' defense. They get takeaways. They're averaging about 2.5 takeaways in their wins. In their losses, only 1 takeaway. And so you have to just not turn the ball over. And if they're able to be good with that, then I think that's the key to scoring 30 points is 1 or fewer turnovers in this game. And the good news is I know Bo's a rookie and rookies can be prone to turnovers. Not really Bo. In these past 3 games playing against playoff caliber teams, only 1 interception. That's how it gets done in my opinion.
So are you setting the bar for the defense at 29 points?
I would hope not, but I mean, not the bar.
Because you've done enough podcasts with me to know where I have the bar. For
Yeah,
both sides of the-
you got it 24.
24. Defense, I need you to give up 24 or less. Offense, I need you to score 24 or more.
I mean, that sounds fair. It sounds right.
Yeah.
But it's going up against the MVP, the runner-up for the MVP right now.
Runner-up for sure.
Runner-up.
I think
Lamar,
runner-up.
Josh
Huh?
Allen.
Yeah, runner
Yeah.
up.
You guys want to know a crazy
I
stat?
think they're going to give it to Josh just based on voter fatigue.
This game is just going to be runner up versus runner up. That's kind of fun.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be MVP versus offensive rookie of the year.
That's
runner-up.
crazy though. Like he's had his
I
best
know.
season statistically, and then this year he wouldn't win it.
That's the thing is like
Yeah,
in
you don't have to convince me.
Yeah,
I
I totally understand where Ryan's coming from. Voter fatigue is the stupidest thing in maybe in professional sports. That might be too far, but like Jokic.
Nikola Jokic
it's
should be going for his 5th in a row right
Yes,
now. But one year they just decided, let's not
literally
give it to him.
voter fatigue, and that's what could happen. If Lamar doesn't win it, I agree with you, Todd. He should be the MVP. If he doesn't win it, it's because of voter fatigue, which is so stupid. And speaking of MVP and these awards, I got a really fun stat for you guys that I want to hit after I give a shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays, where it's getting chilly outside right now, but winter doesn't stop the sun here in Colorado. And if you need to grab a pair of sunglasses, Shady Rays has literally every single pair option that you could think of, including ski goggles. So if you're going to hit the slopes, you're going to need some Shady Rays ski goggles. And the awesome thing about Shady Rays, not only do they have a massive selection, their sunglasses are all polarized, so you don't have to worry about that. And on top of that, they're already so affordable in the first place with being great quality. And then they're going to give you 35% off by using the code DNVR over at shadyrays.com. It's an exclusive code for our listeners to get really good quality sunglasses with also the ability to get it at an extremely good price. And it's also a great gift. So if you have birthdays coming up, you can get it for anyone looking for sunglasses, which is pretty much anyone. So, and over 300,000 people have given them 5-star reviews. So head to shadyrays.com, use that code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses, and try for yourself, where over 300,000 people have given them 5 stars already.
Also, shout out to our friends at Breckenridge Distillery. Breckenridge Bourbon Whiskey is the official bourbon and vodka of the Denver Broncos. You can look for their 2024 Broncos bourbon blends. It's been on shelves all season. You can still pick it up. Breckenridge Distillery is the world's highest distillery. It's founded in 2008. They're most widely known for their blended bourbon whiskey, a high rye mash American-style whiskey. Our Breckenridge bourbon is one of the most highly awarded craft bourbons in the U.S. The Breckenridge Distillery is more than award-winning spirits. It offers an immersive guest experience, so you can eat at their award-winning restaurant, you can enjoy their show-stopping cocktails, learn more about their highly awarded spirits with an in-depth tasting. You can get an inside look at the active production facility. If you're new to the distillery, guests can get the opportunity to blend their own whiskey and learn the inner workings. So make sure that you're tagging them with how you celebrate the Broncos on social media using hashtag Broncos Bourbon. Use the code DNVR at checkout for free shipping on all orders over $99. Learn more at BreckenridgeDistillery.com.
You guys want to know how cold it is in Denver right now, especially for the listeners at home?
Yeah, I'd love to know.
So I've lived in Denver for, I don't know, almost 10 years now. Lived in apartments the whole time. Today, first time ever, the pipes froze at my apartment.
Oh, wow.
So, sorry to Henry, but I went from a workout, ran home to take a shower.
Oh, no.
Turned on the water, nothing. Pipes
Here we
are
are.
frozen.
No way.
Yeah, so there was like a little like stream from the sink. So I just took a little like,
Bird bath?
towel shower.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
What?
It was
Now
rough.
here we are.
And here I am.
I didn't realize it was that cold. Like, what? Your apartment just must have not been winterproof yet or something.
I don't know. It's like 9 degrees.
It's also January.
It's 25 degrees right now.
Well, it was when I woke up. It was 9
fair.
degrees.
That's fair. Okay, so guys, here's and shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365. Here's a fun stat. So, do you guys, realistically, not what will happen, but do you guys think Josh Allen is the runner-up for MVP?
Yeah,
Yeah.
runner up probably. So,
He's
yeah.
had that good of a season.
Yeah.
Bo Nix has more passing touchdowns than Josh Allen. Bo Nix has more passing yards than Josh Allen. Those are like two of the biggest things that people look at when it comes to quarterbacks play. And Bo Nix has one more passing touchdown than Josh Allen, and he has like 50 more passing yards than Josh Allen. Now, I'm not saying Bo should be in the MVP conversation because Josh has 8 more rushing touchdowns. Josh only has 90 more rushing yards, though, than Bo. So it's not like he's blowing him out of the water there. But I just think I just continue to be blown away by really how good of a season Bo has had this year. Like the second most passing touchdowns by a rookie quarterback ever. And he's one more touchdown than the front or the backup to the MVP right now. That's crazy to me.
It
That
is.
is
I
crazy.
mean, I hate this word, but for lack of a better term, do you remember the glaze that Justin Herbert got
Oh yeah.
for his rookie season?
Oh yeah. They were going crazy.
He was the next Mahomes. He
Yeah.
was, John Elway reincarnated, all of this stuff. And what do you have? 1, 2 more touchdowns than Bo had?
2. Yep.
2.
Yep.
No one said anything. Like, there has not been like a crazy.
Well, here's your
thing
chance.
said
you
about
want,
Bo
you
Nix.
want to glaze Bo?
Oh, Glazer. RK Glazer.
You said it that way.
Let's get a solo shot on RK Glaze and Bo.
Yeah, let's. Bo Nix better than Josh Allen.
Ooh.
Boom! Clip
Wow.
it. There we go. I love it.
I don't know. I think he's had a great season, but I think this last game really helped him out a lot. And Josh Allen didn't play. So,
Well, he started.
I mean, he had a snap and then he got out.
Hurts the yards per game.
Takes on
Yeah.
that?
Hey, you
Go
got
ahead.
17 games. Josh should have been out there throwing 4 touchdowns if he wanted to.
I'd
I'm
like it
just
better
saying,
at home.
He did it to extend a streak.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only reason why he took one snap.
Yes.
Oh, he literally only took 1 snap.
Yes. The first snap
Oh
of the
my
game,
gosh.
too.
I thought he was going to play a couple
Because
series.
he started like 100 and something
Yeah.
games in a row.
It would have been electric if he did it at home. Like if you have a home crowd there, you go out there, you take your 1 snap, and then you jog off. Like he got some cheers in New England for it, but
There's a
like
fine-
it's just different. It would fire everybody up there.
There's a fine line here where I'm not okay with what Josh Allen did, but I'm 100% okay with what Mike Evans did.
But why can't Josh go and take 1 snap? Like
Because that
It's electric.
doesn't count.
It's electric.
I have done everything to put our team in positions where
Yeah.
I don't have to play. So if I need to just take this snap to keep my streak alive, because I'm healthy enough, I would have played. But we're so good, I don't have to.
It's a flex, yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm just
the
like,
crowd yeah.
like the streak is just insinuate that you played all the games. You started all those games. You played all of those games. Going out there for 1 snap. If he even went out for a drive, I would have allowed it.
Allow it.
I don't know.
See, I think he should have played 1 series, but I feel what Todd's saying too. The Mike Evans one, at the end of a game, garbage time,
No.
you have to get the 5 yards.
It wasn't garbage time. Technically,
No,
they
yeah.
needed to win to get into the playoffs. And let's just say it hits off his hands, pick 6 the other way. They could have lost their chance at the playoffs.
Or imagine the defense realizes what's happening
Yeah.
and says like, let's triple team this guy because this is an easy interception. We can just
Okay, so even worse, you are jeopardizing your team
Yeah.
making the playoffs for
that makes
this
it
5
real.
yards.
That makes it real.
Oh my gosh.
There's risk at
So then,
hand.
what do you guys think of? I think it was last year. Travis Kelce was like 19 yards away from a 1,000-yard season, and it just would have extended his streak of 1,000-yard seasons, which is crazy for a tight end or something like that. And they sat all their starters. Andy Reid gave Travis the option: to go out there and get 19 yards and then take a seat. And he said, "No, I'm not going to dress today."
Honorable.
Yeah, unfortunately,
hate Travis
I think so.
Honorable, why?
Because he was he wanted to do what was best for the team.
And that's staying healthy for the playoffs, sort of thing.
Yeah, and in that he said like I just have to let go of this record, which Josh Allen, he also did what was best for the team by not playing, but he couldn't let go of the record or the streak.
I don't think you have to let go of records, especially I think records are so hard to even start. So if you put yourself in a position to where you're making or breaking records
or streaks or
whatever you want to call it, like the only reason he's not playing is because the team is so good that he doesn't have to play. I'm going to go out there and get 20 yards.
I think it's fair.
First quarter, I'm getting 20 yards and then I'm out.
I'm kind of all over the place on this because I think Saquon should have played and gone for the record.
For sure.
You really are all over the place.
Yeah.
You're roller coaster Hank right now. It's because you're wearing the same hat. You guys look similar.
Wow.
Well, not the same hat, but black hats.
I got a
black.
haircut today, finally, so I won't be wearing hats for a while.
I was
Before or
gonna say,
after the
why are
gym?
you hiding it? Oh, you have one later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the later
After,
okay.
yeah.
Do you guys have to take showers? Oh, this actually reminds me. But after this
Yes, I
question,
do.
You guys have
We
to,
all take showers.
after. Well,
All
we
three of
sometimes
us.
have to ask
Oh,
you,
that's
Henry. Yeah. Do you guys have to take showers after getting a haircut?
Of course, yes.
No.
Yeah.
You
see?
get all prickly.
See, Henry, that's how I feel. But
That's
there's some
how
people that
everybody
are like,
feels.
no, don't need to.
Your barber's not good enough.
You don't wind up with just like a little hair somewhere.
I don't notice it.
I wind up
Nowhere.
with hair everywhere.
And my hairline's super crispy after a haircut. I'm not washing it off.
Wow.
And me and Todd have the same barber.
That's
so
Exactly.
that's true.
we're both doing something right.
Yeah.
So this brings up my next question, which is totally off the rails. But I was thinking, man, we need to do something for these playoffs. And I was trying to think, like, what could it be? And I looked myself in the mirror and was like, what about a mustache playoff run?
Oh, yeah.
But then I look at you guys, and you guys,
I'll do it with you.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys need to like shave everything else off in order to just be the mustache.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, see, I thought you guys were gonna be Debbie Downers.
yeah,
shoot.
no.
We could
But
do, I'll
you
show
should do
you.
that.
You should
Playoff
go to
beard.
Stash.
Yeah.
You'll grow the stash out?
Well, I mean, no. But you should.
Dang, I'm gonna be all on my own. This is no fun.
I already did the stash this summer.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
wasn't a fan of it.
No,
It's probably right.
Do
Yeah,
the
you-
stash. Do the stash.
man, we'll see. It gets kind of creepy after like 5 days or something.
I can tell from the shadow you have right now that like it could be legit.
Yeah, see, I've been doing it since Sunday.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Let's go.
Okay, so let's get back to Broncos. What do you guys think? You guys have mentioned the defense coming up big, and they need to ride the defense. Well, Ryan has said that they need to ride the defense. Todd and Henry, do you guys think that's the key for winning this game?
Definitely. I mean, if they win, it's because the defense shut them down. That doesn't mean it has to be like you gave up 7 points, but they have that front five that's been so dominant all year. Linebackers are doing everything you could hope. Like what the Bills do running the ball is create explosive runs. It's not the most consistent rushing attack. I think James Cook is the best runner in the NFL in terms of yards over expected against light boxes. So you give him space to run and he's going to make something happen. And I think just the way this Broncos defense is built, like you play out of that 3-4, like they're so heavy up in the front, they're sending extra guys that I'm not worried about the running game. And I think that if you're getting to Josh Allen, the Broncos are able to cover these receivers. It's just that the placement on the pass is going to be perfect. And, it's just you're going to have to make a play on a contested catch. And I like the Broncos' chances at that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense has to play really well. I think it's all about capitalizing when you get the Bills behind the sticks. Against Joe Burrow, we sacked him 7 times, but they only punted once.
Yeah.
So every time we got sack yards, they just made them up on the next play with short dump offs. So I think it's important that when we do get to Josh Allen, we have to keep them in, second and long, third and long to be able to make plays that help our offense out. Otherwise, they'll just march down the field and, get field goals or touchdowns, extending long drives.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow in that game was the first quarterback in NFL history to have 400 passing yards, 75% completion, and get sacked 7 times. And it's just such a weird stat because you're right, Todd. You would think if you're sacking a guy 7 times, they're punting a ton. They're probably punting 7 times because you just ruined drives there, but they were able to overcome that. So what's the key to a defense stopping a team from converting a first down when they're looking at 2nd and 17?
Well, really, I felt like sometimes we would get after him and it was a good sack, and then we would try to get after him again, and then that's where he found the hole in our defense from a blitzer. and was able to, make the quick dump off and get 10 to 12 yards and just extend drives. I think once we get a sack, I think it's okay to kind of not take your foot off the gas, but rush forward and let everybody else cover. We don't necessarily have to still be in attack mode.
So is that on VJ?
I'm not blaming anybody.
No. But I mean, is that on VJ to not be as aggressive after a sack in terms of what he calls?
Yeah, I think it's all about this, situational football. Like in the red zone, you would still be aggressive no matter what. But I think, in between, the 30s, I think I would just give them a little bit more room to cover because, Josh Allen, if he sees a hole in the defense or he makes one person miss, now you talk about him making second chance opportunities, guys getting open in the defense, even though we had great coverage to start the play, it just gets tricky.
Yeah, and containing Josh Allen, I think, is going to be so key for this defense because if you let him run around, okay, that's how you get 5 seconds in the pocket to then you're able to easily convert on 2nd and 17, 3rd and 15 if you get to that. So I think that is really the key for this defense because, Henry, I agree with you. This front four should be good enough to slow down James Cook, but you can't really rely on just the front four to slow down Josh Allen in terms of a runner either. So it's all about containing Josh, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the front five. You're sending those 5 guys basically every play. It's what you've done all season, and every one of them is going to win their matchup. Like that's just the way it's going to go. I think you get your spy out there. There are ways that this could go wrong, but just on paper, I think this Broncos defense is kind of built to play this offense. Especially because when I look at the defense, I think maybe is the secondary the weak point? Like. I'm not even really sure.
Defense?
Like, I don't know what this. If you had to call something a weakness,
Inside linebackers,
probably the
I'm not saying
linebackers.
that.
Then see, that's the thing. That's the thing. If you had to pick somewhere, like,
it's inside backers.
yeah,
Not that this though, they're not weak, but if you talk about like where the strengths of the team are, I guess the most notable players. Let's say that the most notable players are at different positions other than the inside linebackers.
I don't think their job is super hard this week, though. Like, I think so much of it is.
Oh, you're crazy.
Really? Because
No, but finish your
you
point.
spy, you spy on Josh Allen with one of them. Like you leave somebody in like zone coverage. I don't think that this is a super intense week for linebackers.
But that's when, like, I've been there spying on Josh Allen. Just because
Is that harder
Just
than-
because I'm looking at him doesn't mean that when he runs,
Okay.
I'm going to tackle him. You know, so it does get tough. He's a big body. He's agile. He can make people miss. So I think just because there's a guy with a responsibility to spy him doesn't mean they're gonna,
Okay.
they're gonna do their job.
So I
also-
thought the spy job was like not the
It's
toughest.
it's always somebody's job to cover Jamar Chase or cover T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're going to do it. And then you think about how like we've watched him run all over people for years.
True.
So I just don't think it's an easy ask.
It's definitely not. And even when you get there, tackling him is really, really hard.
I also think that that's only part of the inside linebackers job this week because they have probably the 2 best tight ends in terms of a pairing with Dalton Kincaid. No,
Yep.
Dawson Knox and Dalton
Yep.
Kincaid. And then on top of that, James Cook, he's not the best running back in the NFL, but he is the best running back the Bills have had, I don't know, in a decade or something like that.
Since Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, since Marshawn Lynch, LaShawn McCoy. And he's a 1,000-yard running back this year. Broncos fans don't know what that is because they haven't had one since Philip Lindsay in, what, 6,
Shout out
7
Phil,
years
man.
ago or something. And so he is good. So I actually think this is a really tough ask. And I'm curious to see, because the Bills don't have a dominant wide receiver, if Vance ever uses Pat to cover Dawson Knox or Kincaid at all. And maybe they use Pat in some run defense as well. Pat Surtain has 0 missed tackles on the season. 0. And so you talk about how difficult it is to tackle Josh Allen. I want the guy that's really good at tackling to be in on that. So I'm curious just how they use Pat because there's not a lockdown, okay, you're just on Stephon Diggs all game. There's not that.
Yeah. To me, stopping the standard run game from the Bills is actually the most important part of this. They're probably going to have some creative designs and stuff to try and get James Cook out in space, and you're probably going to get popped a couple times. But you can't let them get 4 or 5 yards on just their regular base run game. And once you stop that, that unlocks an even harder challenge, which is stopping Josh Allen. But if you don't get past level 1, you can't beat the game. And to me, level 1 is just stop their run game. And that's what made things so difficult. Not that there's much of a comparison between the Ravens and the Bills, but I felt like that's when things really got off the rails against the Ravens was when they got their run game going, and you just had no idea what they were doing. You're guessing on every play.
Yeah. Speaking of guessing, I want you guys to guess some props that are over at Bet365 because we got to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. And over at Bet365, they got the Broncos game already up. And guys, initially the line for the Broncos game over at Bet365 was at like 8 or 9. Then bettors got in and bet the Broncos, so it dropped to 7.5. Now people are getting in on the Bills, so it's up to 9. So if you want to get in on that, you can get 9 points for the Broncos. Wow. Plus, you can get in on all their props. I love it. Bet365 turned it up for playoff time. They have props already out right now. We're talking about James Cook and Josh Allen rushing yards. What do you think Josh Allen's rushing yards are set at, guys?
Rushing?
45.
Rushing. 45?
I'll go 27.5.
27.5, right?
I was going to say 36, which is a nice in between.
Yeah, it is nice in between. It's pretty close. 39.5 yards right there. Bo Nix rushing yards set at 23.5, and I'm telling you, they got hundreds of props on this game already. And if you want to bet with bonus bets over at Bet365, use that code DNVR365 when you sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet after depositing $10. Bet365's got you covered for these unbelievable next few days of football with college and the NFL all combined. So check them out over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, once help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Real quick, I love that Bo Nix rushing yards prop.
Me too.
You're
He's
gonna
going to take off for a big game.
Yep.
He might have to.
When I've legitimately seen his play where he pitches the ball back to Javonte so many times since, it looks like it's sped up with how fast he's running. I was shocked.
I have a take on that after this.
Well, if you guys want to see Bo Nix run in person, check out our friends over at Game Time. You guys want to get some tickets and go to the game. There's no better platform than Game Time, and they have Game Time picks. It makes it easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. You can't go wrong by using Game Time. I know some people at the Nuggets, I get good hookups, but I still go to Game Time because I feel like their prices are better. And if you're able to wait until the last minute, they really give you some good deals. They have all-in pricing. You can toggle this feature. It shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You get a great panoramic view of your seat that you're using with the seat view on the app. They have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
I've solved the lateral issue.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, boy.
Because I do find it to be a huge issue. Do you guys know how the offside rule works in soccer?
Yes.
It's when it's kicked.
The offensive player or whatever, attacker, cannot be behind the defense, the last defender, when the ball is kicked. We can essentially take that same spirit of the rule and say the offensive player must be behind the other offensive player when the ball is released.
I like that. Because that's the spirit of
So
the
then-
rule.
You can throw like a touch pass, like,
and then I was
yeah.
going to add, because yes, you could just like lob it
Lob
up,
it
which
up.
would be really dumb. But if you know, someone's going to want to try and take advantage of the rule. You have to do it in like the normal motion,
Okay.
So it
Getting a
can't be
little
because that's
complicated.
going to be hard. You can't do that forward.
So it can't be an overhand.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Huh.
Fixed.
Because that definitely fits the spirit of the rule.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the rule is in rugby. I'm trying to figure it out. But I saw people say that they should just use the rugby rule. I'll just say, I think the rule is fine how it is.
We don't need to change any more rules to help the offense.
The rules just fine.
Golly.
The ball has to go backwards. We can see where it starts, where it goes. You got to throw the ball backwards.
The reason I'm so passionate about this is because I believe the downfield lateral is the most underutilized aspect of football. And we need to just integrate it more into the sport. But these weird technicalities and stuff are making it tough on my offensive guys to be able to take advantage of that rule.
Man,
Maybe it just shouldn't be a big part of football.
It should.
Oh,
Roger Goodell would sign off on this because it would mean more offense.
More laterals,
more scoring.
more downfield. Yeah.
Can you imagine Bo and Marvin?
Have you seen the way that the Lions have just like decided they're going to use that to their advantage this year, and no one knows how to stop it?
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, the Lions are getting deep into their bag, and playoffs haven't even started.
Yep.
Todd, what's the one rule when you were playing defense on offense that just drove you nuts, that was maybe changed to help the offense or just wasn't fair in your opinion?
Well, they did a lot of targeting changes when I was in the league, and some of them I felt like were just unjust. Some of them were to help player safety, which is important, but some of it is just ticky-tack, opinion-based calls, and I didn't like that.
To me, the worst one is there's like 7 different ways to get roughing the passer.
Oh yeah, that's horrible. Touching the helmet, hitting the knees, like they give you're running. They want you to run full speed. Yeah. They want you to run full speed, but then they give you such a short window to actually hit these quarterbacks. If you touch them anywhere else, then it's a penalty. And then when you do get to him and you hit him where you're supposed to, you can't land on him. So you're supposed to like defy the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And
science reference.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's one that really doesn't make any sense to me. How are you supposed to tackle someone and then in the process of hitting them and falling to the ground, you're supposed to rotate your body so that they land on you instead?
It's one of those things that just like inspires doubt in the integrity of the game. Like it's too easy to call pass interference. They can, pass interference too, but roughing the passer.
Yeah.
Like they can pretty much call it any time that they want and like extend a drive, and I don't like that.
Yeah. No,
I think defense should be able to face mask.
Wow.
Just rip them down.
now we're
that'd be
talking about
electric.
like necks being
That's
broken.
back to
That'd be a fun
that's
one.
old school.
That would be a fun one.
Yeah,
I
and
wonder
like
when that
horse
penalty
collars
became.
Horse collars are fine.
Wow. Yeah, Goodell would
That's-
never sign off on that.
You're really anti-player safety.
That's safe. It's a dangerous game.
So Todd, when we talk about facing this Bills offense, how do you slow down their tight ends? Because in my opinion, that's the most dangerous part of their offense outside of Josh Allen.
You know, I don't know if there's a great recipe for that because they use those guys in a lot of different ways. You know, they're good in the run blocking, so they don't necessarily have to come off the field in 11 or 12 personnel, but there are enough threats to where you may not want to be in base, you know, in every down because they're able to spread guys out and attack you downfield. So I think the best thing to do is just play man-to-man, and hopefully our safeties can play big enough to be able to stop those big bodies. I don't think this is a game where you ask Pat or Riley to come inside to, you know, defend one of these bigger bodies. We just need our, you know, safeties to kind of step up, play big, and make the big plays.
Yeah, and it's not like you're playing like Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or like even like a Kyle Pitts. Like these guys are solid, but they look better because the receivers are so bad. You know, like it's if they had like DeAndre Hopkins, if they got him instead of Amari Cooper, all of a sudden you'd be talking more about DeAndre Hopkins than the tight ends. But I mean,
to be fair though, last year they did have Stephon Diggs, and they were still both talked about.
they're talked about, but like Dalton Kincaid had a 53-yard game against the Lions. That's his best of the season.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox put up 56 yards against San Francisco. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like these are guys who are going out and putting up 100 yards over and over again. And you don't want to give them the opportunity, but I don't think that you really need to game plan specifically for them. I think you just run your defense and you should be just fine to stop them.
Yeah, that's very fair. And that's just something that's so weird about that. For being such a good offense, they don't have a clear number one at all. And it's bizarre because that's not today's NFL. Today's NFL is, even the Chiefs, like when they didn't, they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins. So it's like, okay, now that's their clear number one in terms of receiving threat. And the Ravens now have Zay Flowers, who's a Pro Bowl receiver now. It's just such a weird defense to go or offense to go up against. And I think you're right that you do play your defense because of it. You don't have to change much.
Well, I think it's easy to forget because they had such a great season that this was sort of supposed to be a reload year for the Bills. Like everyone was expecting them to take a step back this year. And maybe they will when they lose in the first round of the playoffs. But this roster looks like a team that, especially on offense, that was like, okay, we kind of like, had to reset things based on contracts and this, that, and the other. We'll load it back up for next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why they've gone with Khalil
Shakir.
Thank you. Khalil Shakir. He's their leading receiver right now. Less than 900 yards. And then they went with a rookie, their second round pick. They trade up in the second round to go and get Keon Coleman, who is just a massive physical presence, who's still really raw and young. But when you look at them, they definitely look exactly like that. And they've kind of taken the Broncos approach when it comes to the offense. Okay, let's protect our quarterback. Let's protect our $60 million quarterback, Josh Allen. Let's get a good offensive line in front of him. It's exactly what the Broncos did with Bo Nix. Got a good offensive line. And then we can figure out the skill position players. Now, their tight ends are way better than the Broncos' tight ends. But yeah, I mean, to Henry's point, they have a combined like 800 yards on the season. For two tight ends, that's not anything crazy at all.
Yeah. And I think, again, this isn't their most talented team. They just play good football. Like, they stopped turning the ball over. I think they're first in the NFL in average starting field position, which means they're getting great opportunities. They're first in the NFL in not allowing sacks. They're first in the NFL in not turning the ball over. So what does that all do? It means that you're going to wind up scoring quite a few points. And on the defensive side, they're third in getting turnovers, which is part of the reason the field position is so good. The penalties carry over. Like, they aren't reinventing the wheel. They're not just ridiculously explosive or anything like that. They just play good, clean football. They don't beat themselves, and that's made up for the fact that they don't have half their good players from last year.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Henry, I think you just gave us a natural transition. You said good, clean football. Mm-hmm. The Bills' tailgates are they good, clean fun? Or
No,
is it not clean at all?
But I think it's better. It's like bad, dirty fun.
Oh, I like that. We actually have our guy RG was in Buffalo a couple years ago, and he put together an awesome little video of a Bills tailgate. I think maybe their biggest tailgate that we've got to play, because RG and I talked yesterday, and he sent me this, and I was like, this is perfect, because we were talking about it yesterday, and you guys mentioned the ketchup and mustard that they do in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They do it, and it is...
Oh, did you not know about this?
It is weird. No, I didn't know about this.
Is this in the video?
This is in the video.
Wait, Todd wasn't here for that.
I have no clue what you guys are talking
The
about.
ketchup and mustard? No.
Oh, okay. Get
Well,
ready.
you're gonna find
So
out.
here it is. All right, we're live too. Or our
Yeah,
mics
don't
are
say
hot.
anything to get
Bowling
canceled.
ball shots?
Yep, bowling ball shots. He also
here
put
why?
great music behind this. You're probably thinking this is for hot dogs.
They just spray it on one another.
Just
I told you it's the weirdest thing ever, and it's super gross.
look at this. Look how drenched
That
he
looks
is.
That's
that
terrible.
looks crazy.
That's
And
terrible.
he's just begging for it. Oh my goodness. And the USA chant starting with that.
Only here.
And then RG
Wow.
with a bowling ball shot.
Oh, don't break the bowling ball.
And
They're like, hey, bro.
drop it
Yeah.
on the ground. Unbelievable. So that's the shenanigans that's going to be going on in Buffalo
You have
this
to beat
week.
those losers.
But we have a special guest joining us right now. Todd, floor is yours.
Yeah, I gotta welcome in one of my guys, my brother, Super Bowl 50 champion, coach at Nevada, the Wolf Pack. What's up, Virg? How you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. We were talking about tight ends, and the Broncos have been a little bit iffy there. I was wondering if you had one more game in you on Sunday, because the Broncos might need you.
Listen, I could get one more game, but only run game. All right.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that before. Like, I want to be in the game, but only for run block, at least from a tight end perspective. I mean, tight ends these days, Virg, they're not built like that. They typically just want the ball passed to them.
Yeah, I tell you this, but I'm not built like that anymore to be running routes, stopping on the dime at 250 pounds. All I got is some run game, downhill, inside zone, cut off that C gap. Let's get rolling.
You said run game. I think I remember you actually getting a carry in the run game. Can you give us a carry?
I probably can't get you a carry. I'm not doing that one.
Wow. Have you been watching the Broncos much this season?
I have been watching a little bit here and there when I do have time. This year last 2 years I got into coaching, and so my Sundays are pretty jam-packed with game planning and getting my guys ready to go. But anytime I get an opportunity to check out the Chargers, I mean, not the Chargers, sorry. Ooh, don't,
Oh wow! Don't do
don't
that.
give me Bronco fans. I love
Oh
you.
no!
Bronco fans, I love you. I love you. Anytime I get a chance to check out the Broncos, I enjoy it. Bo Nix is doing his thing. Um, Courtland Sutton is really, really controlling games, and that's great to see. And then the defense, man, the defense are playing lights out. Um, One thing that I enjoy most about watching Bronco games is just, especially the home games, hearing the Bronco fans, hearing how loud it is. My wife obviously went to a lot of games in Denver, and she usually doesn't get real excited about football, but when she hears that Bronco fan base screaming loud and mile high, it gets electric in the Green household.
Yeah, bro. Because I mean, there's nothing like it. When we played, like the stadium was rocking. I feel like for the last 9 years, it's been a lot of no shows, a lot of people like not showing up. It just hasn't been the same. But definitely this year with Bo Nix playing the way he did, it definitely got back rocking. You mentioned game plan. If you had a game plan for the Broncos going into this Sunday, what would you put together? What do you think it should be?
I just think not just any. It's not specific to any roster. I think any team you want to establish a run game, especially with a young quarterback. You want to get the run game going, get the defense to play up, so that way you can get guys like Courtland Sutton behind the defense, and then you could get your tight ends rocking in the quick game, and you get opportunity also. Bo Nix, he's got a little wiggle to himself. Get him rolling in some RPO, get some triple options, something going. The NFL game has grown so much in the last since I retired after the 2020 season, and then now that I'm coaching college ball, there's so much different schemes and things that teams are doing that are finally starting to show up in the NFL because you have more athletic quarterbacks across the league. So um, you always want to start with the run game and then get going to the RPO game and then go back to the run game just a little bit and then shot, 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 shot.
And Virg, I kind of want to play off of that right there because tight ends. I mean, especially college tight ends better than anyone, being one yourself and now coaching them at Nevada. Tyler Warren just seems like a perfect fit for the Broncos tight end out of Penn State. How much does a tight end, especially a dynamic tight end, add to an offense in today's NFL?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. My answer is going to be a little biased because I played the position. And next to the quarterback, in my opinion, we can argue till we're blue in the face. The tight end position is one of the toughest positions on the field. You have to be a Swiss Army knife. You got to have a lot of tools on the belt, and you got to do a lot of things extremely well. And none of those tools can be dull. So I think a tight end that can do everything in the run game, the pass pro, special teams. It adds so much value to the team. I always took pride in the product I put on the field and my role in the run game. And I always wanted the running back to use my block. Please use my block. I used to tell No. Moreno, CJ Anderson, guys all the time. I used to tell them, hey, listen, if you don't have nowhere to go, no, you can follow me. Okay, just follow me, and I'll lead you on home. All right.
Oh man, that's got to be a coach's dream for a tight end to feel like that. And Virg, what I heard there was tight end's a more difficult position to play than inside linebacker. Is that right?
Yeah, I know. Todd, listen, Todd's got he got a lot of stuff going on too. But in my opinion, you got to learn, the run blocking schemes, the pass pro schemes, the routes down the field, and then on top of all that, you got to see the defense. You got to assess the defense. You got to see, they're showing a 2 high coverage. Oh shoot! But on the snap, they rolled a 1 high, and then on top of that, when you got a quarterback out there with veteran leadership like Peyton Manning, you call 3 plays in a huddle, and then check, alert, and it's like, oh shoot, what are we going to? So the tight end position, in my opinion, is just one of the toughest positions to play, especially now that I feel like you don't have a lot of tight ends coming into the NFL that have really got grimy in the run game. And so I always tell the young tight ends that I have right now, like, listen, fellas, I had no business playing 10 years in the National Football League. Yeah, I was good, but when you see guys like Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, and the production that they get in the pass game, and you start to see these guys getting paid, a lot of these young tight ends don't think, well, I don't really need to block. Travis Kelce, he's not really blocking like that. Well, you not Travis Kelce. All right?
Keep it 100.
In order to have the longevity that I had in the National Football League, I had to be a enforcer in the run game, and it was because of that I was able to stay in the league so long. I mean, you can look at my stats. I tell the guys all the time, I don't have any stats that I hang my hat on, in the receiving game. But what I can tell you is, the respect that I got from my teammates, from the organization and the fans was more important to me, and winning games was more important to me than any, self accolades in the game. So, if you want to play in the National Football League for a long time at the tight end position, please learn how to run block.
Well, Virgil, I can see why you're having success as a coach right now. I wanted to know, you've been on, several different playoff teams. Aside from just talent or the quarterback or whatever it may be, what do you think is the biggest difference between a team that goes out early in the playoffs and a team that makes a deep run?
Just thinking back from our experiences over the years, I think the teams that typically go deeper into the playoffs have been battle tested. I think about, and I don't like to talk about this one, but Super Bowl 48 against the Seahawks that year. We went deep into the playoffs that year, but that year it was one of our best seasons, one of Peyton's best seasons of his career, offensively. Defensively, we had a good year that year, and then at the end of the year, you had guys like Von Miller, Chris Harris. They got injured, they got hurt. But that year, every game, it seemed like we went into a stadium, whether it was home or away, and we just destroyed everybody, right? And then I feel like in that Super Bowl 48, when we got to game day, I thought we were going to destroy the Seahawks no matter what. And then, them boys came out, had a solid game plan. And then 2 years later, we go to Super Bowl 50. And on the flip side of that, the Panthers, Cam Newton had one of the best seasons of his career, and he was on his high horse. The Panthers were on their high horse. And that year, offensively, we struggled. And the defense held it down and, kept us going, kept us rocking. But every game that year, it was like came down to the wire, came down to the wire, came down to the wire. So we knew we were battle tested. And honestly, in the preparation for Super Bowl 50, and once we got to Frisco, I just had a feeling that we were going to win that game solely because our defense was going to shut things down. And I remember that week, Akeem was like, all y'all got to do is score 20 points. All y'all got to do is score 20 points. Score 20 points. We're going to handle the rest. And they handled the rest.
Yes, sir. Well, I hope this week the Broncos defense shows up big because I think that's going to be a key factor to the success of this team on Sunday. But appreciate you coming on, man. We appreciate you having you. Me and Noshawn have a pre- and post-game show on the network, so we definitely got to have you on the show and chop it up with you. But I'll reach out to you and bring you on.
Yeah, no doubt. Sauce is my guy, so let's make it happen.
Alrighty, man. Much love. See you soon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Virgil. Man, I can tell right away why he played 10 years in the NFL. That attitude and mentality has to be a thing that coaches just absolutely love. And honestly, that's something that Super Bowl teams have to have. You have to have guys like that. Now, it's probably also good to have the Emmanuel Sanders of the world that want to put up the numbers and that demand that as well. But you also have to have this piece because this is kind of like the glue of the team and guys with that mentality.
Yeah, this team, the Super Bowl 50 team, we had like a lot of high-profile names, but we had a lot of guys that just came to work every day. And don't get me wrong, like Von and D, where they definitely brought their lunch pail and definitely worked hard. But a lot of guys like Virgil who just day in and day out gave everything they had, every single play, whether it was, starting on offense or playing special teams. Like, it was a group of hungry men like I've never been around. Like, from first string, second string, third string, everybody was trying to eat. Everybody was trying to take your head off. And we all knew we had limited opportunities. Like, if you were playing punt, you hoping that you got down there before Kayvon and Cody made the tackle because they were making, 8 out of every 10 tackles. Yeah. So you had limited opportunity. So everybody wanted to eat. So it was like a great group of guys that all made each other better, but everybody was hungry.
And I think knowing your role is such an important part of that. And like the greatest teams have guys who, like Virgil Green, are just saying like, let me go out and run block.
Yeah.
Like, most tight ends are going to say, let me get a catch, let me get a touchdown, whatever. But when talented players are willing to just accept their role and buy in completely, I feel like that can really take a team to the next level. My biggest takeaway from that interview, though, was put in the comments by someone. It's way up. I don't remember who it was. They just said, dude seems chill as hell.
Yeah, that's a coach that I want to play for. Because I play for some coaches that aren't like that and bring a very different mentality. It's nearly not as fun. And one of the things that I took away from that was Virgil talking about how Super Bowl 48, the difference between Super Bowl 48 and Super Bowl 50, and being on your high horse that can kind of knock you off. I think the Broncos, while they haven't gone through it, and that's why they're not on their high horse, I don't think they're on their high horse because they're just so young right now. And I think they're confident, but I don't think, they're guaranteeing a win going into Buffalo and they're overlooking them in any sense like that. So I think with a very different way, they're actually approaching this game in, I think, a very positive way to potentially win.
Well, and I don't think this is necessarily the best case for the Broncos in terms of his answer about being battle tested.
Yeah.
But I think it is good perspective to have about what this year is really about. The Broncos have struggled in super close games a bit. And they haven't been battle tested in the playoffs yet, this roster. And so like, no matter what happens on Sunday, this is such valuable experience. And what I expect to probably happen is, regardless of what happens on Sunday, next year you'll see the Broncos take that next leap in those close games.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to the wire, they're going to make that field goal against the Chiefs and things like that. And so again, I think it's so important to remember that this team is so far ahead of schedule.
Yep.
And as a fan, it's really the most fun place you can ever be is when your team is outperforming what even you expected.
Yep.
And it's all going to change after this. So, regardless of what happens, I feel like it's important to just enjoy this ride, enjoy this week, enjoy whatever happens on Sunday, because starting next year, everything's going to change. The playoffs will be the expectation every single year for the rest of Bo Nix's career.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. I absolutely love that. And I just want to remind people that you can become a diehard with us and get all of our content for almost half the price. We got a sale right now, $48 off of the $79.99. It gets you a free shirt, which you can get in one of the Broncos playoff shirts that we just threw out. You can get the LFB shirt. You can get so many things as well as our written content, all for a big sale right now, $48. Click the link in our description. And speaking of our community, you can also leave comments that will be read on the show this week. And I want to get to a couple of those. We got one coming in from our Vada Luke, who says, the comment section is back. Let's go. I admittedly was not originally a believer when we drafted him, but I still bet my friend a steak dinner that he'd have a better season as measured by QBR than our ex, Russ. I'll take the ribeye medium rare. I am enjoying hearing about everyone's milestones since the last time the Broncos were in the playoffs. I've been with my now wife since 2015 and Super Bowl 50, and this is the first time in our marriage that they've made it back to the postseason. So the great news is that we don't have to break up for the Broncos to be great again.
Wow,
Cheers,
that is good news.
Arvado Luke.
That was a close one.
Yeah, it really was. I wonder
you give
what
it a decade.
Allie and I were tested too.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then one more from Mark IT Snatch and OG says, "Hey guys, what 3 matchups versus Buffalo make you A, hungry, 2 be concerned, and C, excited/fascinated to see how they play out? Devon Bailey should torch the secondary if he gets involved in the game. How the defense covers between the hashes in the passing game is worrisome to me, and Von Miller versus Garrett Bowles will be fun to see play out. Time to bowl leave, boys and girls."
Probably be more Von McGlinchey,
Well, yeah.
but I thought those were good ones.
Yeah, I thought
Those
so
are good
too.
ones.
A Vele legacy game would be sick.
Oh, that would be so, like
Mims.
15 passes, 15 catches thrown his way.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a lot, but I'm saying like 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown.
I'll take it.
Troy Franklin,
Oh,
Troy Franklin.
Oh.
I'm buying Troy Franklin.
100%.
So
We
if
haven't had a
anyone's
good-
selling, I'll take it.
Yeah, we haven't had a good stock show. We need to do the stocks.
I like that.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
like
definitely
that.
buying Troy Franklin. So also Drew Sanders.
Yep.
If you're looking for a
especially playing
spy,
outside.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of him.
I completely agree. And we're going to continue to break this game down. We're going to continue to have awesome guests on the rest of the week. Remember, bonus show this week on Friday. So stay tuned tomorrow and Friday, 10 a.m. Thank you all so much
And
for rolling
Saturday.
with us. And Saturday and Sunday. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out and have a terrific hump day. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.